Initiating System 1. System 1 loaded.
The GoreCast is brought to you by American Horrors, the greatest uncut horror channel in the world. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, all horror. As well as the station of decapitation without your head.
America's longest running horror channel, www.withoutyourhead.com.
The following program is rated TV MAL. It contains strong language and is intended only for mature audiences. Viewer discretion advised.
What's up, Gorecasters? Welcome back here to the Gorecast. It's Sunday night with myself and Giz for the old school edition, because this is the original.
I'm full of sugar.
Yeah, we've been eating Skittles, so we're wired. And the
awake
movies are odd, so that'll probably help.
I've been awake since 8 a.m. I need sugar to keep me awake for a lot of reasons.
Yes. Yes, actually, full disclosure before we get into this, in a slight faux pas by me, because we have so many movies on the show, and I also pretty much exclusively watch horror movies or anime anyway. Sometimes I get confused as to what I watched on my own time and what I watched on Showtime. So there's going to be a very quick review for Indigenous tonight, because it would appear upon myself and kids getting 10 minutes into the film, we were like, I'm pretty sure I've reviewed this.
Yep.
So, yeah, sorry. It does fit in with the theme. It was either that or Chupacabra Terror, which is not as good as Indigenous, we'll just say. Although it did have the old school version of the Chupacabra, where it was a big alien beast eat bipedal thing.
Do you remember we discussed how sometimes my mind will delete films after I've watched them if it finds them not up to par?
Yes. Right, okay, cool. So it was like watching a whole new experience for you.
Not really, because my brain kicked in and kind of went, didn't know you delete this already?
What happened to me was, it gets to a certain stage. I don't mind kind of saying this now because the first review is Indigenous, because we were like, we'll get the quick one out of the way. But we did get to a certain... It got to a certain stage, which was...
The opening credits?
No, not the opening credits. I was kind of rolling a cigarette during the opening credits. But anyway, we'll say about 9 minutes in. I remember it being 9 and a bit of change. You meet these two locals who start partying with our group of Panama
moronic
holiday tourists. Yes. And I'm not going to get into why they're moronic just yet. We will after the news. Yeah. But they go on, they do the kind of the opening gambit where they're all dancing. One of them hooks up with the chick, and one of the girls is interested in the guy, and then there's this whole, the minute I heard the line, we want to see the Real Panama, I was like, oh, here we go. And
he's in a bathtub.
Yeah, and once I went, oh, here we go, I was like, wait, I remember having this very same reaction on camera before. So, apologies about that. But anyway,
I was the same when I was screaming moron at me.
Yeah. There's going to be a lot of myself and Giz screaming morons at people throughout tonight's series. Although I did like the majority of the movies. I liked them all. Red Billabong really just lost me. I think it was because there was so much potential in Red Billabong. Like, there's some bits of the story and all of these things that are really, really good. And it's just, if you could have found a more cohesive way of making it all gel together, that would have been nice. Opposed to, But anyway, we've had a long, hard week of gorecasting, as Katie and Buzz, because I think they're the only two that are here, are well aware. Yep.
Hi.
So it's our typical old school Sundays with the old school Sunday edition, where it's not multiple cameras and it's just myself and Giz sitting down, having some bants and some smokes with you.
And hopefully staying on topic as much as possible.
Hopefully. Yes, because that's what you and I are renowned for. Staying on topic.
I try, damn it.
Lovely. A pre-warning for headphone users. LOM. I don't think, because I have the audio nicely mixed tonight, because I did have time to get everything done, you shouldn't get headphone related. Sorry, I just saw it peak there. There's a very good chance you might get headphone related issues. So
Especially if I go on a rant.
yes, especially if Giz goes on a rant. If you see any of us start to go on a rant, maybe pop one headphone out.
Or both. And just
Or
hold them away. You'll probably still be able to hear us.
Might be time to just take the headphones out and listen to us on
the
low.
entire house hears us.
You turn it down. Or you could just turn down your headphones. Actually, don't think of it.
Also a novel concept.
Yes. It's madness. The things you can do with technology these days. Raise the volume, lower the volume, brightness up, brightness down.
I mean, you can have headphones in so that other people can't hear it?
Yes, but it's defeats the point. Anyway, myself and Giz, as is customary on a Sunday night, have some news bits for you. So let us just jaunt over to the newsroom really quickly. There we go. Okay, newsroom.
More warning, I always poop myself when you do that.
Teleportations.
Ugh.
That's fantastic.
Or not poop. I don't know, it's always
The world's
confusing.
fastest elevator. The
You-
GoreCast studio.
Dean Winchester. Nah, we're taking the car. Last time I used the Angel Week, so I didn't poop for a week.
Well, thankfully, that's not the issue you had.
No. I'd rather it was.
Okay, so tickle my taste buds. What we got on the news bits for us today?
Well, for those of you that are long-time viewers of the GoreCast, you will be aware that I fucking love the Tremors series because they're fucking awesome.
I'd like to point out that not just Giz, I think the majority of the world likes the Tremor series because, for aforementioned reasons, it's fucking awesome.
Now, unfortunately, it has to be admitted, film number 3 kind of... and then the TV series
It
really...
was still fun, though.
The TV series really... but...
It was still fun.
But these things got brought back to awesomeness with the film Bloodlines, which was then followed on by Cold Day in Hell, and shall now be followed on by,
Shriekers. Land of the Shriekers.
no,
World.
Shriekerville.
Shriekerville.
Shrieker Island.
I knew it was something like that.
Only because there's a Shrieker in the picture.
The Shriekers, boss, the Shriekers.
Originally, it was going to be titled Island Fury, but
Why would you not put Shriekers in the name?
because they were trying to keep the fact that they were returning the Shriekers to the franchise a bit of a secret, I guess, since we haven't seen them since the TV series, and it's been like a few films since then. What are you... Stop changing stuff.
No, it's this one. I can see that you're already... Ignore me. It's fine.
I'm
Okay,
trying to.
That'll do.
Anyway, so, yeah, in this one, it seems someone with far too much money and no sense whatsoever thinks it's going to be a bright idea to somehow, and to be fair, we have to give them credit, transport graboids to an island. And we have to give them credit because how the fuck did you catch one of those bastards in the first place?
Mark, check 1, 2, Roddy, up in the house. Hello.
Well, I don't know. But, yeah, so anyway, clearly this turns into an absolute cluster.
I like the way I tried to sound kind of like a nighttime DJs, and then you're just like super Irish. What's up? Welcome to the house.
I'm in
Oh, we know.
I'm in the middle of something. It's,
Yeah, we know.
yeah.
Okay, anyway, go on.
So anyway, some bright-eyed moron decides to transport some grabbers to an island, and apparently that gets way out of hand because they turn into shriekers. If you're familiar with the graboid biology, you will know how. At which point they're
this
probably
sounds-
uber fracked.
This sounds a little bit like Shrieker Park.
What?
Like, as in, I could see Jeff Goldblum or someone at some stage been kind of like, oh, clever girl. You know?
Well, actually, more than likely it's going to be Michael Gross because, unsurprisingly, he is Burt freaking Gummer,
And
the producer
Doomhead.
of all the movies.
Doomhead from 31. Scroll down there. There was a list of actors. Go down.
I'm reading it.
No.
It's all the
Richard
lead.
Brake. There you go.
Oh, okay.
This man from Doom. Or not. Sorry.
No, you're right. He was Goat in Doom.
Oh my god, he was Goat in Doom. Jesus Christ. Ha!
That was the first time I saw him in anything.
He was in Doom, and then his Doom head. It was like he was destined.
Well, anyway, in this film, I imagine shit probably goes completely sideways, and it's needed that they call in the world's like expert graboid killer. That'd be
Kevin Bacon!
Burt Gummer.
God damn it. Sorry.
Bacon ran out and damn near everything, including his missus and daughter. Although apparently he did gift her a pair of like graboid skin boots. So,
I love you, Kevin Bacon.
and he probably taught her how to shoot. Although
Good
she-
man, Kevin Bacon.
Or not. I mean, she's really good with that gun.
Possibly. Good job, maybe.
Maybe.
Kevin Bacon.
Maybe.
Yeah. So when's this pipe for releases, or is it just in the talks?
No. This is more than just that.
Yes.
Because
It's out already. It has a PG-13 rating, which is not
it's
worrying.
not out already. And the PG-13 rating is not worrying because this is a Tremors movie.
Yes, it's supposed to be a whole bunch of family fun.
Yes, instead it's going to be out in
That's why I said it's not worrying.
October. Seems like it's going to be coming out. It's still on track for an
Is
October.
it out for October 3rd by any chance? Because loads of awesome movies drop on my birthday.
I don't know. It just says that it's still on track for being released
Because
in
my birthday
October.
is an appropriate time before Halloween to drop scary movies. Oh yeah, it's about 3 weeks in the Halloween period. Yeah, perfect. Let's drop it down. There's a guy in Ireland who's always happy when horror movies come out on his birthday. What are we going to do? Go see a horror movie. Yeah.
Anyway, expect us to be probably reviewing the new Tremors movie sometime in October since, the deadly graboids are back, illegally brought to an island resort by a rich playboy looking for a trophy hunt. You fucktard. This is going to be hilarious.
Silly boy. Silly
You
boy.
should not ought have done that.
Right.
Like pressing the Goku button with Vegeta.
Punching my microphone aside. What have we got next?
Next up. Dun, 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 dun.
Oh yeah.
Dun, 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 dun.
Oh, you're not the right news. Whoops. I'll fix that now.
But that's not.
Yeah, that's from Thursday's news.
Mimic.
Yeah, I don't know why that happened.
Neither do I.
I'll solve it. It's fine. Don't worry. I see what happened. Right.
There's the right picture.
There we go.
Ha! So, good news, everybody. Maybe, possibly, I don't know, because
It's technically horror related because James Wan's directing a Knight Rider movie.
yeah, James Wan is looking at basically redoing the Knight Rider franchise and doing a feature film. Now, it's worth noting that this would be probably like the third or fourth attempt to resurrect old Kit. A boy to Kit! You have heard what happened when Knight Rider went to South Hill, haven't you? Michael, I don't like this. Get me out of here, Michael. Check it out, lads. It's Kit. A boy to Kit. Have you not heard that? No. It was like Rubber Bandits back in the day.
Okay, I haven't heard that one.
Oh, it was one of the first ones.
You leave Knight Rider new.
Oh, it was great. They burnt them out and like.
I imagine they did.
Michael,
Poor
help me.
kid.
Help me, Michael. Anyway, so yeah, for those of you unfamiliar, Knight Rider is the story of Michael Knight. This good guy schlub who ends up getting his face a little bit wrecked and has to get reconstructive surgery, if I remember correctly. Has a whole new identity grafted onto him, and
it turns out his whole new identity is David Hasselhoff.
I was going to say gets partnered with a super intelligent AI, which is stuck in a car that allows the car to do all kinds of nifty
That's
things.
a lot more on brand with the actual storyline, yeah.
So yeah, I expect that in modern day, because it is like they're looking to update it and have it being contemporary as opposed to cool 80s stuff.
It's going to be a chick, isn't it?
What? How does updating something make it turn into a chick? That's not what that works. That's not how that works.
I'm aware of this, as are you. But let's think back through the history. I'm not saying that Kit's going to be a chick. I think Kit is still going to be Kit. I feel it's going to be Michelle Knight, if you know what I mean.
Why?
That's a valid question. I could be wrong. I don't know. It's just that when they do these updates of modern old series, and it's like, we're updating it to bring it into the 21st century, it's conventionally gender swap everyone.
That's not updating everything. That's gender swapping everything.
You're not...
Right.
Sorry, hang on. Just to clarify, because
that's like making a Melissa McCarthy movie and just calling it Ghostbusters and expecting people to think it's good.
Oh, cool. You did get what I was saying. Okay, perfect. Fine. For a minute there, I really thought it was just not locking in for a second.
Oh, it's still not locking in. Is that why Mallory is a girl now in The Boys? That makes no sense either.
It could.
But then again, they made your man in charge of Vought a woman as well and had him fucking Homelander, which was really creepy.
Yeah, because he's saying he's banging his mom.
None of that is right in any way, shape, or form. At all. In any way, shape, or form. The head of Vought is a sociopath that brings in a hot girl so he can drop her in it when he fucks things up.
Yes.
Anyway, Deadline reported earlier in the week that James Wan is indeed attached to produce a brand new feature film adapted from the classic Knight Rider.
Bam, 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 bam.
Bam, ba-da-bam, bam, bam.
Fucking yow.
Fucking yow. which is going to be done by his Atomic Monster, who is teaming with Spyglass Media Group for the project. Apparently, TJ Fixman, who did Ratchet and Clank, I thought that was a computer game, is writing the screenplay.
Ratchet and Clank?
Ratchet and Clank. It's a computer game, isn't it?
Yes, and
Okay.
I don't remember there being a movie.
There might be a kids' cartoon series, which does not fill me with any kind of hope. If he's like,
I don't remember there being a kids' cartoon series either. I know he showed up in Ready Player One. Two of them popped in. At some
everything was in
yeah, I
that
know every
Spartacus
video game.
rip-off.
Yes,
For those of you who don't know, Ready Player One is just Spartacus.
except with video game characters.
The TV series was better. Not of Ready
Yeah,
Player
well,
One, Spartacus.
that was like fucking I Am Legend. Oh, this is just like Omega Man without the goodness.
To be fair, Omega Man was an adaptation of the novel I Am Legend in the first place.
Okay,
Yeah, I know, it hurt my brain once I figured that shit out as
that
well.
was a weird loophole.
Yeah, it's a weird loophole. It's like, good story, conversion, do a remake of the conversion while changing stuff and making it bad.
What? We're remaking Omega Man, but we're remaking the book version of Omega Man, which means we're technically remaking I Am Legend and skipping Omega Man out, because Omega Man wasn't actually a remake of I Am Legend. It was in fact its own version of I Am Legend based on I Am Legend, opposed to being a literal I Am. I think I broke my brain.
It's okay, apparently Knight Rider, the new one, is aiming to break the government.
What?
Yeah. Plot details are being kept under wraps, but we hear it will be a present-day take that will maintain the anti-establishment tone of the original. I thought he worked for a secret government organization in the original one.
It did explain the car.
Or was it he worked for an
Or
independent...
wait, maybe he worked for some shadow sort of organization.
No, not Shadow Organization, that's right. No. The Night Agency was a bunch of, like... Basically, it was someone with too much money deciding that they were going to be a vigilante, but without the experience, so they got this guy that was fucked up and redid his face and gave him a car that could talk.
Perfect! I have no problem going against the government. You have given me all of the tools that I would want.
80s!
It's good times.
Good times.
Good times. Good times.
Speaking of things from the 80s, it seems that we
And
are...
tying in with tonight.
Yeah, kind
And
of.
technically more so from the 90s, because that's when the Chupacabra really started being prevalent.
No, it didn't.
Yes, it did.
No, it didn't.
Yes, it did.
It started in the 70s.
The 90s is where it really fucking kicked off.
You mean thanks to X-Files?
No, it originally started off down near Panama, and it was around the time Species came out. Which is why people...
The reason that I brought up the 80s was because the film that they have planned is very 80s-like, since it's being referenced as ET-ish. Plus, there's the whole Chris Columbus is producing it.
And we
He
all know how
is
good
the
he is
80s.
at finding countries and continents and things like that.
Wrong one. It's not Carry On Columbus. Carry on Columbus, there she goes.
Okay, which Columbus is it?
The guy that did E.T.
All right.
Christopher Columbus, I imagine.
Wasn't E.T. Steven Spielberg?
I thought they were the same person sometimes.
That Christopher Columbus and Steven Spielberg are the same person? Or that Steven Spielberg and
Sometimes.
E.T. are the same person? Or that
Yes.
Christopher Columbus and E.T. are the same person?
Whatever gets me out of this conversation quickest.
Because it's just, call me crazy. I was nearly, I'd say about 110% sure Steven Spielberg directed E.T.
Okay. What did Christopher Columbus do? Not
Discover
discover
love.
America. The Vikings did that.
Discovered India as well.
No, he couldn't discover India. That's
Oh,
how
yeah,
he ended
because
up in
America was
America.
in the way. Yes.
He went the wrong way. And
He
then
zigged when he should have zagged.
told everyone he was great when in actuality people had been living there for hundreds of thousands of years. But he didn't think they counted because their skin color was wrong.
Anyway, Netflix are doing an 80s retro style Chupacabra
Film.
film. There we go. Perfect. Moving on.
Yeah, he directed Home Alone. I knew I was right.
You said E.T.
E.T. style, but I was right. Christopher Columbus is from the 80s. He directed Home Alone.
Okay.
And wrote Gremlins.
Wasn't Home Alone the 90s?
No. First one was late 80s, wasn't it?
You keep doing the news there. Just 2 seconds.
Fuck's sake. Anything to prove me wrong.
It's not to prove you wrong.
Yes, it is. Anyway, the project is set to be directed by Jonas Quarren. It clearly is. Anytime you look anything up, it's to looks. It's to prove somebody else wrong. Yes, to prove me wrong. Let's see. This looks to be an E.T.-style adventure film rather than any sort of creature feature. The film follows a teenager who, while visiting his family in Mexico, gains an unlikely companion when he discovers a young Chupacabra hiding in his grandpa's shed. Okay. In order to save the mythical creature, Alex and his cousins must embark on an adventure of a lifetime.
Oh, right. Literal E.T.
Yeah.
CP.
Pretty much.
Are you felting the Chupacabra? I fucking love Chupacabras.
So, yeah.
I actually fucking love. They're like my favorite of mythical creatures, as Giz will testify.
They really, really are.
Like, they're so spiky. Like, depending on where you listen, because sometimes they're dogs.
And sometimes they're flying serpent thingies.
Yes. You see, it's Chupacabra. We'll get into this because I have little historical things about all the monsters.
It's okay. I'm done with the news, and that was our segue for the Chupacabra stuff anyway.
Okay. Brace yourself. We're going to meet you back in the studio. 2 seconds.
This elevator only goes to the basement.
I pooped my
Someone made
pants.
an awful mess down there.
Ralph Wiggum?
No, Grandpa Simpson.
Oh, Grandpa Simpson. Sorry. You can see how I get. You can see how I get Ralph Wiggum as well, though. It's
Take
very.
them away, toys.
Yeah. Fine. Perfect.
What you say, Chief? Do the good chat. Nothing on. It's been so long since I heard it, I can't get his voice right at all.
Yes. Anyway, first movie up we have tonight is Indigenous, which isn't an actual poster because I couldn't find one in 1080p. So here's part of the poster without any of the writing. There we go.
All I see is us. Ah, there it is.
Indigenous.
Are you flicking back and forth like deliberately, or is it just not working?
No, I'm flip. You really. Yes, it was deliberate. See, deliberate. Anyway, Indigenous, which is
2014.
2014,
already.
talks about a bunch of kids who go off and they investigate the thing known as the Chupacabra.
Yeah, basically, 4 American touristy teenager muppety types are down in Panama for the.
Let's talk Chupacabra for a moment before we get into the movie.
Okay.
Which initially started off as this sort of winged, alien-looking bipedal beastie that the Chupacabra is Spanish for goat sucker because it supposedly went around ripping the necks out of goats and drinking them dry, which then slowly evolved into a sort of dog-like spinal.
Quadruped.
If you've seen Species, this is why I was talking about the 90s thing, because I literally watched a big Chupacabra documentary just to get my facts in a row before we came on. Where a lot of the rumors in Panama started off about it, Species had come out, and if you look at the features of the Chupacabra in general, they're very Geiger-esque and quite not unlike the beastie from Species, albeit slightly now a little bit more dog-like at that stage. And then eventually the dog-like thing turned a little bit more dog-like, and then eventually it turned out that it was coyotes with mange. Except that it was probably not coyotes with mange, because if you look at the original Chupacabra and then look at what they're talking about now, it's kind of like, you missed the evolutionary step there where the whole thing fucking changed. Do you know? Anyway, Indigenous is a 2014 movie where a bunch of kids are going off on holidays, as we all know, and as kids are wont to do, they're going to record absolutely every goddamn fucking second of it.
To be fair, this isn't, before you get the wrong idea, this isn't a found footage movie.
It is just in bits, but it's not.
I was just going to say, it has elements of them recording themselves.
Yeah, but there is also a very, there is some moments of, just straight up cinematography.
Most of it is, to be fair. Most of it is a normal straight movie. It's just there are segments where they're recording themselves or each other.
So anyway, these crazy kids go off to Panama and they're all partying away and they meet two local folk and one of the local folks hook up with one of their guys and one of the other local guy hooks up with one of their girls and then they all get it chatting.
No, it's just your man and the girl.
Wasn't your man kind of hitting on one of the girls?
Nope, both the American chicks were taken.
Okay, sorry, I might have mistook that. But anyway, yeah, lo and behold, they're all having a drinking around the fire later on, and the fucking, as I said, mentioned earlier before we got into the news bits, the infamous line of, we really want to see what the real Panama is like. Oh, Jesus Christ. Hey, I know you're not like a professional fucking jungle trekker or anything like that, but how about we just traipse with
I was going to say that happens after they get told about the waterfall that they used to visit.
Oh,
when they were
yes,
kids.
the waterfall, yes, that's it.
They get told the story by their new friends about this waterfall that they used to visit.
Hey,
when they
Reaper,
were
how are you?
kids. Hello. Which they're it's kind of off limits to go into that area at the moment. In fact, one of the guys takes a look online and realizes that technically speaking, you could drive from Alaska straight down to Panama, except for this stretch of jungle that's never been cleared out. He's kind of scratching his head, wondering about it, and then sure enough, that's the exact stretch of jungle wherein
People be missing.
I was going to say wherein lies this awesome waterfall that they've been told about.
Lo and behold, how coincidental.
Also, people have been known to go missing in there. So
Regularly.
So naturally, the lads are like, "Oh, we got to check this shit out."
Like, not just known to go missing, like as in well-known area, as in if you go in, you won't
You don't
come out.
It's a roach motel for
Yeah.
morons.
You never go further than the waterfall.
No, you don't even go to the waterfall anymore.
But they obviously got to the waterfall and back.
They weren't supposed to. Remember your man saying, "We no go to waterfall. It's bad juju. It's all, we're not going in there." And then it was the chick, Carmen, who was like, yeah, fuck it, I'll bring you to the waterfall. Don't worry about the other dude.
Oh, Carmen, you stupid bitch.
Julio. Yeah, Julio, I think, is telling them this is it's a terrible idea. Don't go there. Meanwhile, Carmen's like, "It's a great idea. I'll take you down."
Oh yeah,
It'll be
Julio
fun."
was out.
Yeah, Julio's.
Julio's out. Julio's not coming. Julio's doing Julio.
Unfortunately, fucktards be fucktards, and they decide to take Carmen up on her offer of going to check out the waterfall.
Which is going fine. Everyone's having a swim. The lads are dicking around in the water. Everything's having a good time until people start going missing in the H2O and things start going a little bit cray.
Yeah. Julio realizes that they've gone on this trek, drives all the way up, doesn't go looking for them.
Because
Instead
Julio does Julio.
Instead, the first sign of trouble, he gets back in his Jeep and fucks off.
Be like Julio. So, you and I customarily give out about the lack of, and we are going to give out about the lack of survival instincts and intelligence. In general, I'm in the jungle cop on that most people, without being a jungle expert, should probably just naturally have. You know, like as in, we've been wandering willy-nilly this direction quite some time. No one's looked at a fucking map, for instance. Do you know, that kind of thing. Anyone, maybe before we run out of reception, download some sort of compass app. I don't fucking know. Or whatever the fuck tickles your pickle. But
or
like,
at the very least, what are the landmarks we should be looking out for on our way to this destination?
pick up stone. Scratch some markings on a tree.
Where's the sun? And okay, that's east. We're supposed to be going north, so we should be traveling that direction, I guess.
Yeah, don't fucking bring breadcrumbs. They
get eaten.
They get eaten. We've learnt this lesson.
In Hansel and Gretel.
Yes, that's exactly.
Although technically they didn't use breadcrumbs in the original story either.
Yes, that's true. Anyway, regardless, do you know what I mean? Stop wondering. And once we got on to what is personally my favourite on the list tonight, but also had the exact same infuriating things as always. It's you and I have differing views on the lead guy, and it was really a cusp breaker of the movie for me. Anyway, we'll get into that later on. But these lads just go with their little hot friend willy-nilly off into the jungle. There's no maps. There's no nothing. There's an abundance of camera gear for some reason, which was I was kind of like, hey, if you're going to lug all this shit into the jungle, maybe a compass. What are we filming?
Yeah, weren't.
I might be blending jungle scenes together. Never mind.
Now, actually, side note, production.
There definitely is somebody filming it.
No, hang on. Side note, production note. It is worth noting that this film was actually filmed in Panama, and fair dues to the cast and crew for
in an actual jungle where they
for actually lugging their fucking camera equipment around the actual fucking jungle.
I remember because I didn't make it to the credits this time because I was like, I can remember enough of this movie. I'm halfway through it. Okay, fine. No, that's a lie. I did technically make the threads, but I was cooking dinner while watching it. Because I was like, right, I just need a refresher course. I remember being super impressed with the movie solely because at the end credits, as most movies of the indie budget variety do now, had shot on red. And I was like, that's a lot of heavy camera because reds are not small and they're not light. And it's traipsing that through a fucking jungle. Not fun, I would imagine. Especially considering it was 2014. Red cameras now, they're a little more compact. You can get them a little more lightweight. But back in 2014, essentially, it's like walking around with a computer tower with a lens strapped onto the front of it.
Fair enough. All the characters had with their phones and stuff, which is part of one of the things, because one of the main characters, himself and his missus, they were after developing this new app or program or something else to steal your money, whereby because you're a narcissist and you want everything you do up on the internet all the time because you think people give a shit when you eat, this thing basically will like scan your face so that the government knows where you are at all times, will make a video and then send it out to everyone you know so that you can bug the shit out of them by telling them what they're doing wrong in their life and how great you are. Isn't that what all that stuff is for?
Sure. Yeah. Sure.
So, you know, it does come in handy, I suppose, when things go sideways and your man has the 1-bar signal and makes a video of him shitting himself, and then it gets sent to everyone in his phone. So people all around the world are looking at this video of a fucking Muppet and thinking, oh wow, he's a Muppet. But look at that scary thing in the background, including his family, who get a little bit worried by the fact that apparently the world is looking at their son dying, or being with friends who are dying.
From what does not look like a normal beastie.
So that goes around the world inside of 20 minutes, apparently, because that's how like technology works now.
And then,
or worked back in 2014 even.
Then the Panama authorities are very quickly able to figure out that, they're in Chupacabra country. Okay, we know where to go.
It kind of helps because Julio goes to the authorities and go, hey, some morons went up into Chupacabra territory. You want to come and help me get them out?
Yeah. Which, it was funny because it was kind of like, hey, Julio, do you know the way you're calling the Chupacabra territory now? Did I know you... No, and don't get me wrong, because you did. And you warned those fuckers. You did. But I feel... It's not like it's the biggest secret. As in, like, I feel if you literally went, there's chupacabras out there. I know you think I'm fucking crazy, but even if they're fucking saber-toothed tigers or whatever the fuck it is that people are mistaken for chupacabras, people are getting their asses eaten out. Out in the woods. Off. Asses eaten off. That's what I meant. Asses eaten off. Off asses eaten were they.
I'm not going to make the lines that I want to make.
Thanks. I appreciate that. Yes. Anyway, I feel if he was a little more descriptive, which is one of the things that bugged me. What I was going to say earlier was I know you were going to say it was real cowardly how you kind of just got to the edge of the jungle, saw some shit and walked away. But you and I have given out about people being fucking idiots in these movies. And that was literal survival instincts. He got right to the edge of the jungle, saw what was probably a chupacabra already and went, well, fuck this shit.
Hang on a minute. He saw the lads' cars, heard them screaming, and then fucked off. Like, the very least you'd expect is him to get out and go, this way, over this way to where your cars are, and we get the fuck out of here.
Do you know what I'm hearing? I'm hearing, Chupacabra, come eat me. Come eat me. Fuck those guys. I'm actually looking for it.
Anyone going up into that jungle apparently was looking for it. But, yeah, no.
A monster's eating out people's asses. I'll tell you, you don't want it happening from any of the people on this list tonight.
I don't know, all three of those chicks were tasty looking.
The monsters, numbnuts.
Oh.
Yes, all ladies involved, if you're into that type of thing, are perfect candidates for ass eating.
I wouldn't say no. Anyway, so like I said, these morons decide to avoid anything even resembling common sense. Like everybody in the country saying, don't go up there. Of course we're going to go up there. So naturally, when it goes around a bit, like the Americans who, as usual, think they know everything have gone into the one place that we have told them don't go. But it's okay. They're Americans. They know everything. Shit, we got to go save them. It's just...
Murder happens. Much murder. Although, I will say, I know it's not found footage to the truest degree, but unlike a lot of movies of this style, We got to see the monster.
We did.
We did. It
And-
looked remarkably like it was from The Descent, but it was a cool looking monster. Because
Yeah,
monsters
I was-
from The Descent were cool looking.
Yes, I was going to say we did see a monster. It was cool looking. It did look like it came from the caves from the Descent, but that's all right. We're it's okay.
And as I said,
okay.
if you want, there's a real ropey cross theory there, possibly, where who the fuck knows?
It's not ropey at all. Hot or worse.
Chupacabras are the fuckers in The Descent.
Or they've stumbled onto the tunnels for Hollow Earth and used them as a means of traversing continents. Where is the Descent set?
England.
No. It wasn't. The actresses were English, but they was up in the Appalachian Mountains.
Let's take a look. Answer the question.
I'm pretty sure they were in the Appalachians.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I can't remember. It's not me trying to prove anyone right or wrong or anything. It's
Anytime
literally,
anyone checks something up that I say, it's because they're trying to prove
yeah,
me wrong.
it's, you see, I don't know why I have to keep explaining this to you on air. We do a show where we like talk about horror and stuff, and I'd like the facts that get put out to be true. Or if
In
it
other
turns
words,
out the fact,
Giz, you're wrong, so I'm going to check it.
yeah, I do it for me as well.
Uh-huh.
Where's the? Keep going anyway there for the minute, just while I do this. Where's this?
I don't know what I'm supposed to get going on. So yeah, it's another case of people being idiotic and not listening to what they're told not to do and going off because they think, hey, we don't believe in any of this crap and nothing could ever happen as we go off into the jungle on our own pretty much. Without any weapons at all, because jungles aren't a dangerous place regardless of whether or not mythological cryptozoological beasties are floating about, you know? So, let's not bring a weapon of any kind.
Okay, it's set in North America. That's all it says.
Appalachians.
Yeah, but shot all in the United Kingdom. Exterior scenes were filmed in Scotland, and interior scenes were filmed in sets built in Pinewood Studios near London.
Because it was done by Pathé Studios and they're a European company.
Yes, but it's mad to think that's all the in the mountain sets were done in a studio. Yeah, it's crazy.
Kind of makes sense that they would have all that claustrophobic stuff somewhere that they can really
Yeah,
control it.
it's and I know you would think I'd be the one to think this, but I wasn't doing film and stuff back when this movie came out and I'd watched it. Do you know what I mean? It should never dawned on me that I was like, these probably aren't real caves. I just thought they found a nice set of caves and maybe shot, as in not literally went full blown spelunking, but we're like, okay, there's
They'd have to.
No. If you shoot smart and do reverse angles and stuff, you could reuse the same area and light it all different, and all of those shadows will make everything look a lot different. And in fairness, when your set is predominantly a system of caves, you can get away with shit looking quite similar. Do you know what I mean?
I would just, do we really want to be lugging cameras through caves with potentially bottomless chasms that they can slide into?
Said the lads from Indigenous that went, should we be lugging cameras through the Panama jungle, which is quite dangerous in its own right. Anyway,
Fair dues.
fair juice to you, boys, fair juice to you.
I think on that note, maybe kick into a trailer.
Kick into a trailer for Indigenous, and we are going to be back where we're going to be talking fucking bunyips.
Are we?
Yeah.
Oh.
I said I was going to finish on the one that I would agree. The bunyip one I have issues with, strangely enough. It's fine. Customarily, you and I are usually in alignment. It's usually a good show when we have opposing views and things. Anyway. Bunyip. No.
Indigenous.
Thank you. And we're going to be back talking bunyips. And we are back. That was the... Oh, there we go. And we're back. That was the trailer for Indigenous 2014. Yeah, it's an alright watch.
To be fair,
If you're into those kind of... I'm saying found footage style because it's very much a found footage style movie, but without... I mean, as in storyline, layout,
Formula.
and plot. And yeah, but not shot in found footage style. But, as I said, possibly the best bits of it are the found footage little bits through the phones here and there.
yeah, I did like the idea that, he's after coming up with this thing to make himself rich and praise off people being narcissists and all the rest of it. And that's the only way that people know that he's actually in trouble. Mm-hmm. So, that was kind of interesting, I suppose. But yeah.
Anyway, there we go. Get rid of that. Anyway, next up we have 2016, I want to say.
Yeah.
Perfect. We have the story of the Bunyip, which is in the form of the movie called Red Billabong. So, for any of you who don't know, a Bunyip is it's a lot of different things depending on who you're talking to, because it's one of those weird ones where there's literally 5 million different descriptions of what a Bunyip is.
Yeah, it's another one that had an older kind of descriptive form, which is, I suppose, kind of like a cross between a bear and a hippo.
Yeah, it looked like some sort of water-residing creature with also the body of a massive land mammal all at the same time.
Yeah.
Like scaly, but also large, beastie-like.
I saw one that basically looked like one picture that looked like kind of a mutated duck-billed platypus.
Yeah, there's been a lot of different variations of what... Yeah, there's a lot of different variations. None of them look like the one that shows up in the movie we're talking about tonight.
Because they brought a cave troll.
Yeah, they brought a cave troll. Or a doomsday, depending on what your comic book knowledge is.
Still a cave troll.
Yes, that's true, technically. Yeah.
I mean, I was watching Batman vs Superman, and I actually said, "Oh look, they brought a cave troll."
Bunyip is native to Australia, and so supposedly it's either a massive beastie that goes around kidnapping people. It either I have seen supposedly have the ability to like mind wash you, kind of turn you into this little slave puppet. Mesmerize people, and then there's the general normal kind of goes around eating animals and wrecking shite and
But to be fair, it's also seen as kind of a spiritual totem type thing.
like a water demon, or a water spirit.
Yeah, it almost a nature protector in a way. Which, to be fair, a lot of these creatures, that's kind of one of the bits that goes along with the folklore, is that they are protectors of nature. So they're naturally going to attack anyone that would encroach not only on their territory, but also potentially fuck up the natural world as it is.
Yep, that's it. So there you are now, all up on your bunyips, bunyuped.
That, of course, has nothing to do with this film because they come up with their own little mythology and all the rest of it.
So here, just before we get into the full-blown movie review, here is where the correlations between the reality of the Bunyip and the reality of the movie lie. There is, in fact, a thing called a Bunyip. It is originated from Aboriginal legend. It's from Australia.
Part of their creator mythology, I think.
Yes. It's from Australia. It does possibly live in caves. That's about it. Oh, the mind washing.
Yeah, the mesmer thing.
Mind washing, and some of its actual behaviors, I will say, in credit to them, are in keeping with the Bunyip.
I'll be honest, I didn't do a lot of research into the proper mythology for the Bunyip, but I did like the mythology that was concocted and the reason that they have for the Bunyip's existence in this film.
Yeah.
The story that goes along with it, its origins. I actually liked the backstory and how it came about.
My major issue with this movie, and I think it's actually why I didn't like it so much, was there was so much in it that I did like that they somehow could just not manage to tie together into a good movie. Yeah. That it actually irked me.
Yeah. Anyway, I think the story of this film is basically revolving around two brothers, Tristan and Nick.
Nick is the older brother who's been off doing his own thing and trying to help.
Well, yeah. Nick's been gone for the last 7 years.
And Tristan's been a little toe heel.
Kind of. I think he was living with his grandfather or...
Yeah. Anyway, long story short, Grandpapa has died and left Tristan and brother. Yeah, but he's left it in control of Tristan.
He's left the will, which is basically said that because of the Aboriginal people helping him with his research and his studies, he wants the acres of land that he owns to return back to them.
Yes.
That's what he'd like to happen. But ultimately, he's leaving the decision with Tristan while he hopes that Nick will continue to do what he's always done and
help people. Yeah, which is it's like the mythical final quest of the
Bequeathment.
grandfather kind of thing. Yeah, do you know what I mean? That kind of
Yeah.
I leave it up to you, my son.
Now, the thing is, Tristan has been a little bit wishy-washy with his life.
And he's been a little bit dealy-wheely with all of his drugs.
I was going to say, which has led to him basically selling weed, coke, meth. For fuck's sake,
Yes.
having a bunch of guns in the shed, and having a dipstick friend named BJ who decides to invite himself along because...
Which is ironic, because it's funny that his name is BJ, because as you watch the movie, you wish he'd just go suck a bag of dicks.
he's an arsehole.
He's a total pleb.
BJ...
We don't like BJ, he's a total cunt.
He arrives on with others in tow, such as Anya, who is apparently Nick's ex-fiancée from
And
back
not
in the day.
singer, just to clarify.
No, not the singer. Also in tow are Rebecca, Sam, and Kate, who are...
Pleb 1, Pleb 2, and Pleb 3.
Well, Rebecca's alright.
Used to date the older brother, Pleb 1 and Pleb 2.
No. Anya used to date the older brother.
Oh, sorry.
Rebecca's
Rebecca's the one
the
who's
other
dating Tristan.
Well, he
Wait,
hooks
hooking
up
up with
with
Tristan.
at the house party.
Yeah, she starts off as a pleb and then she evolves, kind of, maybe. Not really. It's not... this is my problem with
It's
the movie.
because of the company she keeps, okay? She's hanging around with a dickhead, so automatically she gets the dickhead moniker put on her, along with everyone else that gets out of that hippie van.
Pleb 1, Pleb 2, Pleb 3, and super uber pleb.
Yeah. So anyway,
The pleb boss.
they
The
start...
pleb father.
They have a session, they have a bit of a party. BJ, at every opportunity, shows what an arsehole he is. Tristan, nonetheless...
Tristan has inherited new land, invites people over to have a party and
Did he,
celebrate. Yeah, or did they just show up?
You see, that was the thing. That's actually one of the running bits in it, because I think we find out later on,
That BJ just showed up?
because of somebody else instigating them to show up. There was a quick throwaway line later on from another character that basically leads me to believe that the reason that BJ turned up is because Tristan never contacted him, but the other guy did. And
Oh yeah, him and the older brother don't like each other. Is that who you're on about?
no, Sam.
Oh, the Aboriginal guy?
No,
Which one's Sam again?
stepfather.
Oh, sorry. Okay. Oh yeah, sorry.
That was, yeah. There's a throwaway line out of him at one point that leads me to believe that, because the whole time Tristan's like, I don't remember calling him and inviting up. I possibly did. Could have done it when I was out of my head. But then Sam says something later on that leads me to believe that, oh, it was actually 100% all a setup, because Sam also says that he needed 3 girls up there.
Okay.
So anyway, before they had arrived on,
I
Nick
won't
and-
lie to you, by the time that revelation came in the movie,
It's-
I might have already been like, fuck this.
Yeah. Nick and Tristan, before all this happened, notice that there is strange things out in the woods. I mean, they find a dead kangaroo. Tristan puts it down to weird things happening, plus the fact that he's dealing drugs and he might have pissed somebody off, so it could be a warning. Tristan raises more than a little bit of an eyebrow at this one. Mm-hmm. Or no, Nick, I should say.
Yeah.
That's cool. People arrive on to have
Obviously, because even if it isn't a bunyip, your brother having people leaving dead animals around just as a lesson is a bit not cool.
Yeah. Now, personally, I don't know why someone didn't smash a bottle over the back of BJ's head and then slit his throat with a shard of glass.
Regardless
they're
of
in the
being
middle of-
invited or not, BJ shows up to what is Tristan's new property. There's a party going on, and BJ automatically tries to swing his dick around and be the boss.
And he's not even like...
He's a slimy son of a bitch, is BJ. Which I will say, kudos to the actor, because I wanted to punch you in the fucking face, which is, in credit, job well done.
Fair point.
Yes,
Fair point.
job well done, because you'll
One of the-
understand if you ever see this movie. BJ was never designed to be a likable character.
One of the reasons why I was screaming at the idiocy of the characters is because they're in the middle of nowhere. They're in the middle of nowhere. There's a lake, pretty much bottomless, right over there. Smashy, smashy, slitty, slitty, dumpy, fucking dumpy. One less arsehole in the world to deal with. But anyway, that does not happen. That does not happen at all.
No.
Unfortunately. Instead,
You got to leave BJ get sorted by bunyips, the only ones who have the nuts to get rid of that prick.
yeah. So unfortunately, instead we have various people from the party. Mainly, actually, your man Jason, there it is, goes a wandering to take piss at one point because he's very, very drunk.
Shit-faced drunk, and off he's head on drugs, and then they can't find him, and then they do find him, and he's not looking well.
Well, he's puking his guts up, but the thing is, Tristan spots
He's
a
also scared shitless.
no, he's just puking his guts up. But when
No, he's giving out about fucking get me off this goddamn fucking whatever crazy something.
pretty sure he was just puking his ring up because he drank too much.
Okie dokie.
But when Nick goes to grab him,
They see a thing.
he does. Yeah, he sees two red eyes in the woods.
Yeah. Well, it's not Nick that comes back freaking out. It's the other guy.
Does he even come back freaking out?
Yeah. He says something about weird fucking I can't remember ghosty shit or whatever fucking. The literal term of phrase he used is eluding me right now, but he alluded to something fucking weird in the woods, and I want fucking out, basically.
Anyway, the following day, Nick, Tristan, Anya go to the shops to get food. On the way back, they decide to stop off with the real estate agent who has offered to buy the grandfather's land from Nick to go and discuss stuff.
Quite persistent.
Yeah, so while Nick is kind of perusing through the contract, while Tristan's perusing through the contract, Nick spots a pair of night goggles which happen to have red lenses on them and kind of goes, snaky motherfucker. Instantaneously putting them on to the fact that it was probably them sneaking around the property as opposed to some kind of mysterious beastie.
And you also notice there's a picture upon the wall that raises some suspicion. I won't tell why, because it gives away the whole thing.
This film attempts to have an intriguing plot whereby Nick attempts to unravel the mystery surrounding his grandfather's death
and all
his
of the
grandfather's
secrets
research.
of the family and how they all tie into the Bunyip. And oh my god, my dad's evil.
Girls eventually do start going missing because apparently that's part of the Bunyip's thing, and that gets
hypnotizes young ladies.
Well, to be fair, it does actually get explained and it's part of the mythology. So I'm actually cool with that. I kind of liked it. As long as like you have Garvey, there we go, who's like the top lad from the Aborigines and has come along earlier on in the film to kind of talk to Nick about the notion that his grandfather had of giving the land back to these people, explaining exactly how much the land means to the people, how they are one with it, how you can't have one without the other.
Tries, yes, keyword tries is correct.
Yeah. But like I was saying, Garvey gives us a very good explanation for the Bunyip once things kick off and once he kind of has to pull Nick aside and explain what the fudge is going on, because some serious shit here, Mike.
Yeah. Let me just put it straight to you, because you're not picking it up correctly. There's a massive monster. There's a massive monster in the cave. You need to listen.
They explain, like I said, they give a good mythology, part of the creation myth.
Yeah.
The notion of a shaman going bad, and it even explains why the three girls would be important, and more importantly, why it didn't go for a random woman and her son earlier on. There actually has to be a connection, like the three girls have to know each other. It's kind of part of the riff. But it turns out that like there's other people that are after the Bunyip, and this was all a bit of a setup to try and get the right people in the right place, so the big old cave troll thingy could be out in the open.
Whoever could have orchestrated this evil deed.
Yeah, we're not going to give that one away.
I think we did already, but anyway.
Did we?
Yeah,
we
I'm
did.
pretty sure.
Shit.
It's okay. It's so shoehorned in that it doesn't really matter.
I'm pretty sure you missed the line when it got said anyway.
Of the dad bringing people there. Oh no, I mean the whole dad angle was just so shoehorned in that I was like, where the fuck did this come from?
The notion of him coming back was shoehorned in, but it was interesting because story-wise, it was a good emotional hook when you look at how characters interacted after all that happened.
Yeah,
it was
kind of. But I mean, it was like I just found it the whole scenario odd. It's just kind of like, I don't get how your dad being an evil fucking mercenary that works for conglomerate.
That's not even the part that I was thinking.
Okay, but this is the part that I had issues with. I was like, how do you go not knowing that?
It's okay, hang on.
I was like,
hang on, it's okay. When that character reappears, all of that was where I had issue. What I thought was cool was the story revolving him not being around.
What bugged me in relation to their knowledge of that was that it was like Tristan seemed kind of happy to see the dad
because of...
Yeah, hang on, let me finish. Tristan seemed kind of happy to see the dad, but then Nick, who's very, very marginally older than Tristan, was very much like, what the fuck are you doing here, blah 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 blah. And I was kind of like, how does one know about what an evil son of a bitch the dad is and the other one doesn't?
You weren't paying attention.
Probably not.
Do you remember the cool part of the story?
Yeah.
That I was talking about? That's how he knows. Because the younger brother thinks the sun shines out of his ex-father's arse because his ex-father took care of them. The older brother knows the truth. That's why he knows he's a fucking arsehole.
Yeah. So how? I just don't get.
Nick thought the dad was sending back money.
Yeah.
He was never sending back money. He fucked off. Tristan left so that he could get a job and send back money. Nick. Yes. Older brother goes away, sends back money. Younger brother is a dipstick, thinks the dad is doing it.
Yeah, I get all of this.
Yeah.
But my issue is, I don't get how none of this has been linked together by anyone. And I don't get how it fully
Because Tristan
worked in the
never
story.
told his brother what he was doing.
Yeah, I don't know. Like,
And
the
he
granddad
wasn't
knew.
there. Did he?
I would assume so.
Oh.
Because the dad said, because with the whole keep helping people conversation.
Tristan isn't around, or Nick isn't around when the dad arrives on for a lot of it, which means that he gets to say whatever the fudge he wants. And as long as younger brother is willing to go along with his harebrained schemes, that's what he's going to do.
Keep talking.
I love how you keep asking me to keep talking after I finish my point.
Yeah, I know, but you're usually the one who has no problem talking.
Yeah, but you keep asking me to keep talking after I finished my point.
Okay, but just keep, like, it's not like keep talking for like another fucking 40 minutes. It's like, give me 60 seconds while I pick up my smoke.
You always ask me that.
Yeah, look, this is my overall issue with the movie was there's all these very, very cool little hooks and angles throughout the movie. And it just, no cohesiveness to it.
Yeah.
It's all just stuff. Do you get me? Nothing has any compounding impact on anything else.
Plus, most of the characters are,
Very two-dimensional.
I was going to say, unlikable.
Like, you have Nick, who's the fucking hardened older brother, and he's a little bit tough, but, you know, I love my family, and that's what I do. You have Evil Dad, which, don't get me wrong, while an interesting hook, I was just like, this feels like it was dropped in, fucking just like, plop. Like they were having a shit one day, like they had one of my epiphany shits. Do you know, like, do you know, it'd be cool if one of the
Dad
guys
came
working for the
back.
corporation dude he's fucking
Oh no, it's not. No, the corporation dude's working for the dad.
whatever. Do you know what I mean? You know, it seemed very secondary idea. The brother's the two-dimensional druggie with a heart. You had BJ, who's the two-dimensional dickhead drug dealer, bad guy dude, and then you had miscellaneous hot chicks 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah, one's a ex-fiance.
Bar the one who had the ex-fiance vibe with Nick, she had some kind of interesting angles on her initially, but the other two were very much just chick 1 and chick 2. That's really what bugged me about the movie, is there's so much good shit in it, and it just, for some reason, it didn't kind of pay off at the end of it. I can't get it.
I think I was just screaming at characters being idiots for most of it.
Yeah, well, look, we're going to be getting into a movie where we're going to be screaming at pretty much the same again about people being idiots.
Like three films tonight.
Like three films, like no one, like seriously, like
No one brought a knife.
or a map.
Actually, to be fair, in Red Billabong, they did cop on and they did grab weapons eventually.
Yeah, and in Red Billabong, I got the impression they kind of know the territory.
It is their back garden.
Yeah,
Basically.
you know what I mean. So, well, they're back. There's the whole thing with Australia is, depending on where you live in Australia, you can have a whole lot of back garden.
Yeah, like Belonga Mick. Yeah. Take what, 3-4 days to walk across it? I think you'd walk across Ireland in less time.
Yeah, well, except for the burn, evidently, according to Bear Grylls, because as we all know, it's one of the most dangerous places on the planet.
Fucked hard.
Yeah, I've
Don't drink your own piss.
that's always bothered me, that one.
This is why the Ray Mears, if you want to learn how to do stuff.
Yeah, well, you don't learn how to do it; you just learn how to avoid doing it.
I was going to say, if you learn how to do stuff right, so you don't end up in
Yeah.
these ridiculously convoluted. I mean, if you happen to walk around blindfolded in the dark and walk off a cliff like I've done,
I just
here's
found
how
the
you
burn
save
one especially
yourself.
funny because it's like they used to bring every primary school to the burn on tour, And it's just kind of like, I could have actually imagined the camera turning around and just been a load of farmers and school kids just like, Jesus, it's mad to see Discovery Channel in Ireland, isn't it? Oh, fucking hell. It's lovely to see the place getting a bit of exposure and all of that. Why is he falling down that hole?
Ted and Dougal in their
Where's
chairs.
the sign,
enjoying...
actually? That was very clearly marked.
Ted and Dougal in their deck chairs enjoying their summer holiday down by the burn.
Oh, God almighty. Anyway, will we hit a trailer?
Yes.
Okay, we're going to hit the trailer for Red Billabong, and we're going to be back where we're going to be talking some Bigfoots, or Sam Squanches, depending on what way you want to view it.
Or rednecks, as I view it.
Possibly rednecks as well. As I said, it's one of those weird ones where I also don't disagree with your theory. I just think it's quite open-ended. Anyway, Bigfoots and Sam Squanches we're going to be talking about, but here's the trailer for Red Billabong, and we're going to be back.
I was thinking before, do you remember that time when I saved you?
All I saw was you flying down the back steps, jumping on the biggest kid's shoulders and just smashing him in the side of the head.
And then I grabbed that cricket bat and just started smashing everyone.
You always had a lot of fight in you.
Yeah. What was that? So, a couple of days ago, I get a letter from Grandad. Here we go. It's marked about a month before he died.
Dear Tristan and Nick, I hope this letter finds you well. I made sure you get this letter to know my dying wish, and that my acres of land are given to the local Aboriginal tribe. Right, so what's your problem?
There's this local developer. Wants to buy the land off me.
You know, the land here, it's sacred to us.
This stuff with Tristan, it's done. He's out. I know.
Been a long time.
Sure has.
Now the party's getting started.
Beck's missing.
What did you do?
The guy's up to something.
We gotta get out of here.
Jesus, quiet.
Yeah, well, it's country. It's supposed to be quiet.
I mean, this is really quiet. It's never this quiet.
How would you boys like to be rich?
So do your job.
This is it now. This is you.
To the right!
Why does Richards want the land? So we can what? Capture it, sell tickets?
You expect me to believe this fantasy story that you...
Not fantasy, miss, it's reality.
Scuba. Girls, you're the bait.
Let's leave the house. Are you kidding me? I'm not leaving you like this. Please. Just go.
You betrayed your family. Come on! Come on, you can do it!
Come on! Where's the final girl?
I know what I said, Tristan.
Jesus, you're not gonna bite his head off.
And that was the trailer for Red Billabong. Yeah, look, it's worth a watch because there's some very good elements in there. And while myself and Giz do have some issues with the way the monster looked, because it was kind of like, that's not a bunyip,
Cave troll.
but it was quite...
It still looked really cool.
It looked
to be
very
fair.
cool, yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I was going to say. Like, the CGI on it was very good.
I liked there's the scene in the cave with him.
Yeah.
Where he's over the girls. I thought that looked really good.
Yeah, and I very much liked the kind of the white milky eyes as he's brainwashing them, and that whole vibe all looked very, very good. Special effects for that, because normally those kind of eye effects can go terribly awry, or an eye, if you will.
Sometimes.
Yeah, but yeah, no, like visually it was got. As I said, it was just for some reason all of the cool elements just didn't click. Yeah, that's the perfect description. Anyway, pardon what? Next up, we have from 2014.
14.
No, 2013.
Yes, maybe. Game show. Come here to me. Yeah, 2013.
Yeah, so from 2013, we have...
Willow Creek.
Oh, no, that's the wrong one. We have... I hate my life. Here we go. We have Willow Creek. So, also directed by Bob Cat Wainwright. Goldthwait, sorry, thank you, who played Zed from...
Police Academy.
Yeah. I can't do it now.
Nobody can.
Yeah,
Nobody
I
can.
used to be able to kind of do it.
He also played one of the in-laws in Married with Children.
Oh my god, yes. Yes. He kind of used to show up in lots of random shit as a mental bastard during the 80s and early 90s.
Police Academy made him.
Mostly Police Academy, yes.
Yeah.
So that's the movie we're going to be talking about. So as you can probably obviously tell, because we mentioned Bigfoots and they haven't come up in the show yet, this is very much about Bigfoot, which is, as everybody knows, the supposed missing link between man and modern man, prehistoric man, possibly, or some sort of man-ape linky.
Or is just a completely different species of creature.
Or it's just a whole, could be a whole different species, or some guy fucked an ape or something. Who knows? But so Bigfoot has been around for God knows how long. For as long as there's been woods, there's been lads saying there's been large hairy lads in woods.
The myth of the Sasquatch goes back.
Sasquatch, pronounced it correctly. There's an angry look coming from Giz that no one can see because there's a Sasquatch on the screen.
It's been around for a long time. And in this film, Jim and Kelly, who are budding film stars, I guess, because Kelly does work in like adverts and stuff.
Kelly does acting and some kind of advertising work, yes. And the boyfriend, I think, shoots documentaries professionally.
Yeah. But
they're not like what you would call Hollywood starlets or anything like that. Or I can get rid of this now if we're going to get into the movie review. Right. I was going to do more about Bigfoot before. Oh, no. No, it's okay.
Do you want to do more?
Look, out of all of them, I think most people have a relatively okay Bigfoot knowledge. Big, hairy, big feet.
Lives in the woods.
Don't piss it off. Don't fuck around it either, because they're highly primitive and those fuck pheromones.
Or they're not primitive at all.
Well, they're highly susceptible to fuck pheromones. Fuck hormones. Pheromones. That's what I meant. Sorry. Fuck pheromones.
Okay.
I'm going by Cherokee Creek. It's just, it ties into the logic of this movie as well.
Alright, fair enough.
Animals pick up and all of that. Sense.
Or they were just ticked off because someone encroached on their territory.
It could be either one. As we'll also get into by the end of it, could be fucking hillbillies too. There's no actual clarification.
Yeah. So anyway,
there's clarification on several things. There's no clarification on if it's a Bigfoot or hillbillies.
Yeah.
That's about the only.
Anyway, Kelly and Jim, well, Jim primarily is intent on making a documentary.
Because, God damn it, Jim, since he's been 8 years old, has always wanted to go off in the woods and hunting a Bigfoot.
So he's intent on doing a documentary, so they head up to Willow Creek, which is where the...
Willow Creek, California, which is renowned for Bigfoots.
Yeah, it's where the infamous footage was shot.
I can't... The footage that we had on screen, I can't remember the name of the guy that shot it, but you look like you might have it.
It's the 67 footage...
Yeah.
Patterson Gemlin film. There we go.
Thank you, because that's actually a very, very crucial component of this, is that this is where all of this... the most legitimate footage of a Bigfoot has been got. And as you very, very much gather while wandering around the town with Jim and his missus,
it's Bigfoot country.
It's Bigfoot country, and they very, very much reside on the fact that there's a whole lot of big feet walking around out in them woods.
And why not? It did, like, the Scottish no harm down around Loch Ness.
Yep, chalk it down.
Yep.
If you got a massive sea lizard in the lake, go for it. I'm surprised we haven't started bringing people down to see banshees, although we do have leprechauns, or leprechauns as we call them in Ireland.
People die when they see a banshee.
I'm aware, but people also die when they come near big feet.
Not always.
Sometimes.
In these films, maybe, but like... Anyway, Jim and Kelly spend the first...
Jim and Kelly, not Jim Kelly.
Spend the first half hour, 45 minutes of the film kind of wandering around the town, interviewing various people, getting different stories. Some of them are actually kind of...
This is actually what I really liked about the movie, was sometimes when you have a found footage style movie and you have these kind of where they're doing it as a doc or something and they do these interview segments, the interview segments can feel very not
Staged.
natural and forced. And these genuinely felt like they just grabbed some folks off the street. I mean, for all I know, they could have grabbed some folks off the street, bar the ex-ranger, because that's definitely staged. There was too much background story there for me to be like...
What I was going to say was, I agree with you, and actually, I liked the fact that it showed the bad takes, because that lent itself to the organic feel of it.
Yeah, and to the fact that we're literally just watching tapes, we're not seeing an edited movie.
Now, perhaps it worked a little bit better for me and you, since we're kind of used to doing things like this ourselves, and having to, especially you, having to look back at footage that we filmed. So there will be those parts at the start where we're fucking about or something goes wrong or whatever. And to have them included into the film, like you were saying, makes it seem far more organic and less staged than in a lot of other stuff.
Totally agree. As I said to you, if I was to have come in missing the initial start of the movie and before the hillbilly section, I would have actually thought I was actually watching some guys shooting a Bigfoot documentary. The other thing I think that lended more a lot of credence to this was I found Jim, like Kelly was a really cool character and she's quite nice and things like that, but Jim is an overall character. He seemed like the type of guy I could see him actually doing documentaries. You know, there was a certain kind of naturalness to the way he was on camera, things like that. Don't get me wrong, I'm not letting it.
No, what I was going to say was I unfortunately recognized him as soon as I saw him and kind of went, ha.
I didn't. So there's a fucking amazing we've never reviewed that, have we?
Death Valley.
I
think we did.
We'll double check that because we
Valley
haven't.
lasted for one season.
Unfortunately, because it's bloody amazing.
It was amazing. It had Katie Lotz from the Arrowverse, currently Legends of Tomorrow, Captain Sarah Lance. She was brilliant in it.
That's one of her kind of initial roles, I think.
It was certainly the first thing that I ever saw.
Which I like because it's like Katie Lotz has solidified. Like all of the characters are just Katie Lotz with a different name.
Bill Paxman on it.
Yeah, because she's a little blonde shell fucking ass kicking super ninja in this as well. I'll always remember that scene where the zombie breaks in. There's the police chief is oblivious and he's a total idiot. He's fucking great.
But one of the he makes speeches all the time, and one of the speeches, no matter just this one in particular, I mean, tears run down my face every time I see it.
He hasn't had a sexual harassment. If it wasn't for the fact that he actually is just a genuinely nice guy and so lovable, he'd probably have a sexual harassment lawsuit brought against him. But there's this one scene where he's talking to another cop and a zombie breaks in. The whole point of Death Valley is vampires and zombies and werewolves are all out.
Real.
Well, yeah, they're real, and not only are they real, they're out and about. Kind of like True Blood. You know, everyone knows they exist now.
Yeah.
So they have a task force that handles shit in relation to them. But anyway, this zombie gets in. Katie Lotz.
Werewolf on the porno set.
Katie Lotz single-handedly and with no weapons or anything, just sheer butt kickingness, literally beats a zombie to death. And then the police chief just gives out to him, "Come on, get back to work. You're never going to get out in the street."
It's better than that though, because every time she drops the zombie and turns around, the police chief turns around and sees her apparently doing nothing.
Yeah,
he turns back and the zombie gets back up.
There's a lot of literal amazing comedic timing in relation to the scene. It's very hard to actually just describe. You need to see it. Look, just watch the whole season.
Like we said, the reason that we're talking about this show is because Bryce Johnson, who plays Jim, also is in Death Valley as one of the main on-the-street cops.
Yeah.
And
it's essentially the TV show Cops, but following these monster-kicking police officers.
Yeah, his character in Death Valley is a bit of a moron. A nice guy, but a moron.
And a total horny son of a bitch. He's banging vampires left, right, and centre.
No, I think he got hauled off that one.
Oh yeah.
There was the whole...
Yeah, but he got hauled off because I believe there was an incident.
I was going to say there was the whole incident with the hookers.
Yeah. Because he has a load of vampire hookers in the cage, and as he walks by, they're all like, "Hey, Greg!" And he's like, "Hey, girls." He's so good. But anyway, that sort of charm that his character has also does come through in this, and I felt like I could buy him very much as the kind of nice documentary style filmmaker.
Yeah.
Doesn't take away from what a massive idiot they are going in.
Yeah, we
This is where myself and Giz's views in the movie start to swerve. Although it's not swerve, because I still very much hold true that I think your theory is as valid as my theory. and vice versa, because you're never.
Look, my theory is based on the fact that throughout this entire movie, the one thing that we don't see at all in any way, shape, or form is evidence of Bigfoot. And by that I mean categorical couldn't have been done by somebody else. Which, for a found footage movie, lads, you need to have something.
The other thing,
something, that's the point.
The other thing that, now personally, this is where you and I disagree, is where it's not the whole time, but there are two angry hillbilly town folk encounters that they have.
Yeah, one guy in town tells them not to make light of Bigfoot and stop treating it as a joke, and another guy physically stops them from going down the road when they get up into the hills.
Now, they were warned while doing the interviews. They're talking to this ex-ranger, and he's like, I think they're talking about disappearances, people disappearing.
Yeah.
Throughout, but he mentioned, they asked what he thinks it could be. Like, do you think it is Bigfoot? And he was like, well, I mean, it could be a Bigfoot. It could be, I mean, like, there's always like crazy pot dealers that are working up in the woods,
guys that don't like you hanging around, snooping into their business.
There's those river folk and all that kind of thing, you know. So you meet the angry hillbilly guy. He starts bombing rocks off the car, and they drive off and just take a different direction up to where they're looking to go, opposed to just leaving like he told them to. So personally, I think that's thrown in there as a curveball. But I also get how I have more evidence technically for hillbillies than I do for big feats. Bar the fact you do get a lot of what would be the stereotypical Bigfoot stuff. Like if you were going looking for Bigfoot without actually getting Bigfoot on camera, things you would be looking to get are the banging of the trees and rocks as like some sort of communication, the weird vocalizations of the not quite man but not quite animal kind of
sounding strangely like, you know, one of those old hand powered
it did sound like an air raid siren. That might have just been bad sound design, where it was kind of like, okay, we're looking for like a howl but not a wolf howl, but monkeys don't howl the way I need them, they're more opposed to like an actual. So I feel a lot of animal blending turned into air raid siren, because T-Rex, it wasn't literally an air raid siren, but it was damn fucking close.
I was going to say, to be fair, T-Rex is mainly elephant.
Yeah, true. So this is where myself and Giz both agree on issues with the movie, which is typically or normal issues with a lot of these paranormal, or sorry, not paranormal, but found footage style movies, is that the people in them exhibit no form of survival instincts whatsoever. So Jim, they're in some massive woods, and I forgot to mention, outside of Bigfoots and Sam Squanches, which are the same thing, but there's also a very big warning given to them by nearly half of the people that they interview, that it's like, outside of Big Feet, it could also be the fact that it's raging bear country up there. They don't bother trying to figure out what sort of bears it is. It doesn't matter. They bring no protection.
I think the more prominent one was mountain lion.
Mountain lions, yes.
That would be the one that I'd be kind of like, huh.
Yeah, because they did kind of say that they're like, you need to fuck with the bears for the bears to go to fuck with you, whereas the mountain lions, they'll just fuck you up.
Like I say, it depends. To the best of my knowledge, brown bear is kind of like, whoa,
strong
there,
and tough,
and you can kind of, whoa, okay, I'll go my way, you go your way. Black bear, gone if you can, or maybe not. I don't know if you want to be running from an apex predator.
The best thing to do with a black bear supposedly is just hit the fetal position and like it's in block your face, block your neck, and just hit the fetal position and hope to fuck that they get bored before you die. Yeah,
because running could be probably...
Well, they can get up to like 20-30 miles an hour, supposedly.
Yeah, you don't run from an apex predator.
They also won't fall running downhill, so supposedly once they get on a downhill, they're fucking...
Juggernaut.
Yeah, so...
Anyway,
regardless, no matter what colour bear it is, they have nothing. Not pepper spray, not a sharpened stick.
Certainly not a fucking knife, because that'd be like...
Knife, nothing. Stun gun, fucking tranquilizer gun, nothing. As in, this is where I had big issues, because I was like, okay, and most importantly, I'm going up into the woods to fucking hunt down, not in a killing capacity, granted, just try and confirm it. What is roughly universally described as like an 8-foot or 9-foot massive hairy gorilla man beastie thing that exhibits an exorbitant amount of strength. And I feel, just in case,
it could be a bit territorial.
And it could, because put it this way, it's managed to stay off in the woods on its own with very, very little to no proper visual evidence of it. Do you know what I mean? And things that tend to do that are very fucking territorial of where you be treading, because once you start to get into their zone where they're like, okay, now you're starting to get a little bit up in my shit, they can get out of my shit. Most animals, especially ones that have been living in the wild for possibly thousands and fucking knows how long.
Yep.
That's the interesting thing about Bigfoot. It could be literally a missing link from a time gone. Do you know? Like, as in, one of the theories is that it's like fucking way back on the Homo sapien line, back when we were still big, massive Neanderthal hairy gorilla men. You know what I mean? But anyway, regardless, you're trying to find this thing. As I said, you mightn't be necessarily looking to get a face-to-face with it, but you should take into consideration
the fact that
there is a chance
he's not going to be happy to see you.
Like, you're going hunting the thing that is a professional hunting thing. There's a very good chance it's going to fucking get up on you before you're going to get up on it. So, which is a very funny way of putting it, come to think of how the ending kind of implies what's going on. Anyway, moving on. So nothing, not a pointy stick, nothing, not a thing, not remotely. Number 2, not unlike our lovely friends who went wandering around the Panama at no stage, which that was my very first worried inkling, was they're out of the car and he just starts walking into the woods and I'm like, whoa, Nelly, hang on.
He was given...
Yeah, I know they were given instructions that you stay between the river and the fucking thing, but it's kind of like, are you telling me there's no map that you could just, like, I mean, $5, pick up a map and be like, throw an extra $10 in on a compass? Like, you're literally in a town where people go hunting bears and go off in the wilderness on a regular basis. You're telling me there's nowhere that you could purchase a compass and a map and some fucking high-powered industrial pepper spray?
You probably could, but honestly, personally, I think that, okay, so just to be clear, I'm keeping the river on my left, yeah? I'm going to be walking along the river shore and making sure that the mountain is on my right the whole time.
Yeah, whereas they don't. They take one little trip to the river and then just fucking break neck.
To be fair, at one point they actually, after things get a little bit terrifying, because they stay one night in the tent, there's all kinds of stuff that happens.
All the shit happens. Literally everything you could look for without seeing a Bigfoot to confirm a Bigfoot, they get all of it. Yeah. And a running, crying woman.
Apparently, they think.
Well, it sure sounded like a running, crying woman.
Yeah.
And then we'll get to that.
Yeah. But yeah, no, they're trying to find their way back to their car, and they clearly haven't got a bull's notion where they're going. They do definitely get lost. Then they find the river, and it doesn't occur to them, okay, here's the river. It's supposed to be on our left going in, so we need to cross it and keep it on our right, or here's a shocker, follow it down fucking stream.
I think the issue with the location of the river was because they didn't know what direction they came to the river from.
It wouldn't matter, man.
Yeah.
Water is flowing, you follow it downstream.
Yeah. There was a lot of survival related issues in this, which is one...
Common sense.
Yeah, but you see, here's the thing. That's kind of the standard how people get in shit in a found footage movie.
Like, not having common sense?
Yes. Like, think about it, though. Like, even my favorite found footage movie ever on the planet, The Possession of Mighty... Possession of Mighty King. But even in that, it's kind of like, oh yeah, we'll just go get all the demons in me. I'll just be a demon wardrobe. I can't see how that could possibly go badly, remotely whatsoever, one way or the other. Oh, would you look? I'm possessed by all the fucking demons. Who would have known that could happen?
I was going to say technically Rec would be the one that actually breaks your rules, because they were actually doing stuff that was totally normal and anyone would have done. Just so happened that there was a bit of a zombie apocalypse at the time. Yeah, well, that's the thing with Rec. Why I didn't mention it in that category is the situation. Like, there's one or two crazy things that they... Actually, no, all of the crazy things that they would do that you wouldn't want to do in a horror movie, they didn't do voluntarily. They were event-driven. Like the running up the stairs and getting higher into the building, that wasn't by choice. They had no option. That's why I didn't put Rec into the mix, because it doesn't fit. Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Because people weren't being idiots. They were just...
But these two, oh my God.
Yeah, these two were being stupid. And there was one... My fiance, who I love and adore, very, very, very steadily agreed with me that she was like, if I started screaming like that, I'm sure I'd be angry at the time, but once we get down the hill, I'm pretty sure I'd understand as to why you put my hand over my mouth and be like, shut the fuck up. Yeah, bear mace. Thank you. That's the mace I was talking about. It's not like the spray, it's like water, so there's very less chance of you getting a blowback, but it's like strong enough to fucking drop. Well, the bear won't. It might start running after you, but if you take a sudden left, there's a very good chance it mightn't be able to.
I'm not going to lie, I just have this vision of somebody pulling a mace out of their bag and hitting a bear over the head with it.
Well, that's how I do it.
Bear mace.
Brah, brah.
Of course, then you realise all you've done is take it off.
And then I take my belt off and I get my girlfriend's, my fiance's belt, and I strap them onto the bear and I ride that bitch back into town.
That is not how that works. Oh, you're unconscious now and you're dreaming. I get it.
No,
It's gotten up and it slapped you.
Bear myth.
Anyway, so
he's getting a bit buxom. Crank.
So anyway, Jim and Kelly wandering through the woods, can't find their way home. It becomes nighttime. I'm mentioning this because it's nighttime. They have their camera with the light on, and it's aimed at their faces.
Yes.
They're trying to see what's out in the darkness.
The smarter thing to do would be have the camera pointed at the ground and slightly in front of you occasionally. And if anything runs and screams at you, flash that light in their face and then run the opposite direction of where your light is pointing.
Oh, they're not armed. Sorry.
They're not armed. Yeah, I would be like, jab whatever's at you in the fucking neck and start cutting. Do you know what I mean? Because if that's not going to work as an overall solution, it'll definitely give you enough thinking time to try and figure out what to do after that. Depending on what it is, because I don't think that'd work with the troll monster from Red Billabong, to be honest. Not that it wouldn't work, it's more of there's a whole lot of neck to carve.
I don't think it would work. There is a mystical element.
Yeah, I think it'd fuck it up enough that you could get a little bit of thinking.
Oh yeah, don't get me wrong, he wouldn't like it.
Yeah, like it'd buy you a bit of, will I run or will I try hacking off more bits, kind of, you know.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, it's like shooting a werewolf with a normal bullet. Sure, it's going to hurt him, but do you really want to only hurt him?
Yeah, well, there's you get 10 seconds to go, okay, he's hurt.
A terrible idea.
Do I want to run, or do I want to pick up this very large object and just start smashing him in the fucking head with it?
Is it made of silver? No.
Well, it doesn't need to be made of silver. It just needs to be made heavy. Well, if you splat his brains.
Werewolf?
I'm talking like pureed head.
What?
Say it's a sledgehammer.
Yeah.
I'm talking like puree his head.
Regenerative werewolf.
Yes, but how fucking fast does it regenerate?
Oh yeah, it'll take a while.
Yeah. Okay. As in, enough time that I don't need to worry about the werewolf.
Sorry, gotcha.
And enough
further incapacitation.
And enough time that there's a very good chance that the moon could go down by the time before his head's reassembled and problem solved. Depending on the time I've smashed his brains in. Does the regeneration work outside of wolf mode? Like if I cut off John's head?
Yes.
Okay.
Because you still can't kill a werewolf without a silver bullet, even in human form.
Okay, well, I'm gone. I'll put it that way.
Yeah.
Unless the werewolf's holding a fucking grudge, I shouldn't need to worry about the werewolf as long as I've left. Do you know what I mean? Don't get me wrong. Like I'm sure if I'm staying in the fucking town.
Oh yeah, he's.
Yeah. Or you never know. Maybe the werewolf was like, okay, maybe I just won't try and eat this guy because he literally smashed my fucking brains in with a sledgehammer and it wasn't the most pleasant experience.
Oh, it could be the really opposite.
It could be the real opposite. Look, anytime you smash any mythical beastie's head in, it's the dangers you run.
Yeah.
Anyway, back into Willow Creek. Long and the short of it is, they're very much lost in the woods. Then they start to hear the noises again. And then young Jim gets grabbed.
And as a result of the way this film ends, it's open-ended because, like I said, there
is a woman on a poster that's made comment of earlier in the movie, on a missing poster, who very much is standing in the woods naked. And is probably, if you're to try and rationalize things out,
broken.
Well, you can tell she's broken. But quite possibly she's the crying noise of a woman they hear running through the woods.
Most likely.
Which could be why she looked broken, because it was like literally my last attempt at fucking freedom. Fail.
But because there is... Okay, we get growls and we get animal noises, but it's really easy to fucking have something when it's young and train it, regardless of the fact that it's an apex predator, kind of to a degree.
It's fucking hillbillies, because as I said, I don't disagree with your theory.
That's what I mean.
It's not that
hillbillies
hard.
with a fucking mountain cat on a collar and leash.
Not even a fucking mountain cat. Could just be hillbillies making fucking noises.
I can do a pretty good snarl, but I can't like let out a proper. And there was a proper mountain lion roar going with that stuff.
No, to fucking get up blaster. Jimmy, like, not to try, like, because it's mostly because I like the idea it's Bigfoot's kidnapping people and keeping them as their
There's
fox
also,
slaves.
did you ever see The Ghost in the Darkness?
I can't remember.
Val Kilmer. It's actually a really good film with Val Kilmer, dramatizing the real life events of a killer lion that was whacking workers near railway.
Wait, yes, this sounds familiar now.
Yeah. No, what I was going to say was, they did their best to try and get the behavior of the lions accurate.
Right.
And one of the things would be the dragging prey away, the prey off. So that last scene, the way the camera is and the way it kind of goes once and then goes again, would have been very in line with, that same kind of behavior.
Katie, sorry, I'm just going to have to... Katie said, I'll just throw a bag of cat treats at the bear and run and hope for the best. You see, now the bear knows that you've got treats. And that's a problem.
Baby Yogi.
No, like bear knows, okay, worst case scenario, I'm going to eat her to fucking bits. Or best case scenario, she's got more treats and then I'm going to eat her to bits. If the bear is so inclined to go chasing after you. Because I can't imagine cat treats sustaining a bear or entertaining a bear for long. Unless it was literally a cat. And which, I've seen your cat, so I don't imagine you fucking a cat at a bear. I can't see that happening. And Cinema Reaper went, his cousin's dog got eaten by a bear. Sorry.
What?
His cousin's dog got eaten by a bear.
Oh.
That was a harsh realism. Sorry about that.
Couldn't be worse. Could have been his cousin.
That's true. That's true. Yeah, so anyway, as I said, like the long and the short, we see the missing lady in the woods. You can hear Jill screaming for her life and being dragged off into the distance.
Well, I think she runs. It's the two of them kind of start running. And
no, you can hear "Get off me, get off me, get off me." No, I'm talking about Jim's already fucking dragged off and very much dead. And you can hear Jill in the background.
Kelly.
Sorry, Kelly in the background. It's Jim and never mind. I somehow mixed Jim and Kelly and got Jill.
So it was going to be Kim and Kelly and Jelly?
Who knows? But yeah, so she's gone off. Yeah, and she's either being a sex toy to Big Feet or a sex toy to
Rednecks.
Because as I said, like, I know you're saying they had some animal trained up, which could be. They could have had some like mountain lion trained up as a protective animal kind of thing or whatever. Or if they're, I mean, it very easily could be hillbillies who figured out, okay, there's bears up here. People supposedly keep going missing by Bigfoot. I could really just set up shop here and whack whoever I want, or just keep as a fuck toy and whatever. And they just figured out a very like Scooby-Doo like elaborate series of ways to do bear. Well, I mean, A, it's not that hard to bang sticks on fucking trees.
Oh,
B,
yeah,
it's not that hard to bang rocks on rocks. You could very foreseeably have a ghetto blaster with animal noises on it. It literally could have been an air raid siren. It didn't sound exactly like an air raid siren, but it was close enough that it could very well be an air raid siren. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? So I'm not disagreeing with you. I like landing on the Bigfoot thing because I'd like to think it's Sam Squanch. But it could be either or. That's the annoying thing about this movie. There's no actual closure.
Not really. No.
Well, not at all. Because it could be. Like, I mean, it could be crazy rednecks. It could be fucking crazy Sam Squanches. Or not crazy Sam Squanches, just horny Sam Squanches. Which, from what I've seen in most movies, could be just Sam Squanches.
I cannot wait for the Dresden Files to get made into stuff so that people can see a proper Bigfoot. And then the angry, fucking mad, flesh-eating version. That was terrifying.
Yes.
Sorry.
Oh, I better line up this trailer. I don't know if I lined it up.
Did we do the trailer for this yet?
I don't believe so, because we haven't finished reviewing it yet. So,
Sorry. We kind
customarily...
Okay, we started kind of talking about a lot of stuff, and I...
Yeah, but it was all movie related.
I've been awake a long time.
I know. We're nearly there, bud. It's okay. Don't worry. Which one's Willow Creek? Here we go. Load, you son of a bitch. Here we go. That's good. Okay, do you want to hit the trailer for Willow Creek?
No,
Or do you have any
because
more?
I'll make things explode. You should do it.
Okay. Here's the trailer for Willow Creek, and we'll be back to let you know what's coming up in the GoreCast this week and say goodbyes. Talk to you in a second. Here we go. And that was the trailer for Willow Creek. I think if you like your found footage style movies, this is definitely worth a watch. And if you like your Bigfoot movies, while you don't get to see a whole lot of Bigfoot, the kind of the documentary side of it leading into it is fun for a Bigfoot fan to watch. I don't know exactly how on point all of the info is, but it was fun.
I tell you, right? For me, one of the good things about it, and this is going to sound like I'm being a bastard, but it's not overly long, which means that the parts that I found dull, primarily when they're just sitting around with the camera facing themselves, you don't have to put up with too much.
Yeah, they don't drag ass.
Not too badly, There is still, I still just, in the dark, utter darkness. What's around us? I don't know. Let's point the light in our faces.
Yeah, like it's kind of like, yeah.
That hurt my brain.
Yeah. And instead of just sitting under a fucking random tree, try and find somewhere like an actual sheltered area where you can kind of
put your back to a goddamn cave wall.
Get your back to a wall or something. Do you know what I mean? I'd be a bit dodgy of caves in that scenario. Just considering you're pretty sure you have a Bigfoot in your grasp.
Fair enough.
But yeah, some cave wall and
Something
just some area
solid
where you
behind
only got to watch in front of you.
Hmm.
And sharpen a stick, or even don't sharpen it. Just find a big one and break it in half, so at least you got something. Anything. Even just find a solid big rock, so at least you can just club the thing in the fucking face. A pointy rock, you can take an eye out with a pointy rock. You can even probably get through some neck. I don't know how thick a fucking Sam Squanch neck is.
I'd go for the eyes just to be safe.
Yeah, go for the eyes, because they're squishy and they like to be stabbed.
Ah, you got me right where I want you. Knife to the eye.
Yep, if it'll work on a shark, it'll work on a Sam Squanch.
Funnily enough, that was sent to a giant octopus thing.
That exact line?
Oh, yeah.
If it'll work on a shark, it'll work on a Sasquatch?
No. You got me right where I want you. Knife to the eye.
Oh, right. Okay. Sorry. I was like, where in story does an octopus get told the info? Well, you can...
No.
If you can stab a shark in the eye, you can stab a Sam Squanch.
No. This is... No.
Yeah, look, I thought the tension in this was pretty cool. I liked the... Welcome back, Buzz. Oh, I've only got a pointy rock.
Ooh, I've got a pointy rock if the treats don't work.
Yeah, pointy rock. Or go... Katie, Jesus Christ. Okay, you're in the woods. You've brought treats with you. Seeing as you're so prepared to bring treats in case there's bears.
Bring a knife.
Thank you. Knife. And bring some of that bear mace too, because I'm intrigued to see how well that works.
Or a mace with the word bear written on it.
I was talking about them.
I know.
Okay.
I know.
Or big bear mace.
Yeah.
Either way.
Big bear, he's strong.
Chased
tough.
ice cream man again. Buzz. What you get, Buzz? Put it in the chats. Tutti frutti.
I wonder, does the ice cream man hit the nitro when he sees Buzz? Fuck it, it's him again.
I'd say at this stage he's just parking outside his house.
Possibly.
You should tell him you do a podcast and that you'll give him free advertising. I don't mind being sponsored by an ice cream man. The ice cream man? The ice cream man?
Apparently he got something called a choco taco.
Oh. Choco taco is essentially, do you know ice cream and wafer?
Yeah.
So it's like a taco shell shaped ice cream wafer, and it's got ice cream in the middle, and it's got kind of like chocolate sauce over the top of it. So imagine a taco, but replace
Ice.
yeah, or ice even.
Okay.
Taco. They're lovely. Yeah, I don't think they're called Choco Tacos over here, if memory serves me correctly, but actually, no, they might actually be called Choco Tacos over here. Anyway, yeah. Yeah, so that's it for us tonight. We should be back on American Horror soon, so there'll be all crazy trailers and things like that going on. I think it's the Biker Night from Hell is playing this weekend.
Oh, cool.
So myself and Giz getting all Sons of Anarchy up and things like that, and talking about some crazy biker werewolves.
Werewolves on Wheels, Psychomania.
Psychomania is great, by the way. Yeah. I don't know if that's, I'd imagine that's playing, but yeah, go check American Horrors, because I'm pretty sure that's what's playing tonight. And if, go check it out, because Psychomania and Werewolves on Wheels is fucking great. It's grindhouse awesomeness.
And the inspiration.
Oh, so yeah, he literally has that poster in his living room.
That lines from the film, son.
Yeah, so good. So good. I fucking love fucking Werewolves on Wheels. And Psychomania. Just go watch them all. They're great. American Horror is great. Just go over there and do that. Anyway, more GoreCast related news. Tuesday, Buzz and Carter are going to be bringing you their Suspiria original versus remake, because I had computer issues and we weren't able to go out Tuesday, so that's happening this Tuesday. And then join myself and the Giz and Carter and Buzz all for our group chat Thursdays this Thursday, where we're going to be talking about Umbrella Project, which is pretty much Umbrella Academy. Yeah.
Not to be confused with some kind of fashion show thingy.
I don't know. Is it a fashion show thing?
I don't know, but you said Umbrella
No,
Project.
Umbrella Project is Resident Evil.
Corporation.
And projects.
Okay. We're going to be talking about Umbrella Academy.
We're talking about Umbrella Academy, where it's going to be pretty much us exclusively talking about Season 2, but I'm sure there'll be a brief chat about Season 1 and how it leads into the events of Season 2. Because, god damn it, they lead in well. I was angry about the ending of Season 1, and then I saw the beginning of Season 2, and I was like, you know what, Netflix?
Well done.
You're all right. You're all right. Anyway, for myself and the kids, we'll catch you next week, or during the week. Not next week. We'll catch you during the week, where we're going to be talking about some other sort of mad horror bollocks. GoreCast out.